I could even see that because AI can take a look at the transcripts, the call, and sentiment analysis is a big part of what AI can do. But like, I don't know if it's the chuckle KPI, but we got to think about this because if they leave with feeling connected to the agent, that's going to only impact our CSAT, our NPS scores, and there are all kinds of studies that say even small increases in these measures have big impact on revenue. And that's where I want to go next. This whole impact on revenue, because we have our external customers, but we have our internal customers called the C suite. It's called every other department, right? And so we have to think about them as well. And I love this idea of hospitality and how do we direct that internally, right? Because one of the biggest things that we know is that we're not always looked upon as more than just kind of a support department, right? But we know we are. We know how we impact customers. We know how we retain customers, which has a huge impact on the bottom line. There's so many different ways that we don't necessarily get credit for. So this is where our internal communications really comes in. So I'd love you just, I said a whole bunch of stuff. If I don't know what the question is there, but if you could answer it, that would be great.
Yeah, no. So one of the things, as CXers, right? Like if you're a data-driven CXer, which I love the art and science of CX. So I love that, the compassion, connection, to me, that's the art. And then the science is the data, right? There's so much data in CX. So I totally love, CSAT, service levels, average speed of answer, average hold times, all of that. Like I am so in the details of those metrics and they mean so much to me, right? When I look at those metrics, they tell a story. They tell me how the business is doing. When I'm talking to my C-suite leaders, I'm like, hey, let me tell you about our ASA and let me tell you about our CSAT and NPS and all of these different metrics. They know what they are, to be very clear. They're not like, I've never heard of those things, but that's not the language they're speaking, right? That doesn't tell as much of a story to them. So my job, and I really talk about this with the leaders on our team, is it's our job to help connect our CS metrics, our CX objectives, our business objectives to the grander business objectives, right? So how does CSAT tie in to generating revenue? How does average handle time tie into cost savings, right? And whatever, every business has some different major objectives, but like know what they are and talk that language when you're talking to your leaders. Like an example is our B2B team. They literally play a hand in every single order that goes through our business. So every order that comes through SSB, our B2B customer service team touches it in one way, shape, or form. And so we could talk about that as contacts, right? Like, oh, we got contacts over here. We got contacts over here. Or we could talk about that as order support, managing the orders, the X amount of orders that flow through SSB. We are ensuring they move from here to here to here because the C-suite definitely cares about that. Like make sure when you're talking about CX that you're speaking the language of the business and not just over assuming that everybody understands the impact of your metrics in the way that you do. Again, like when I'm talking to my team, we nerd out, right? We're just like, oh, okay, let's do this if we do this. But the other piece when we think about internal customers is it's that same connection, support, and care, right? So if business partners come to us and they're like, hey, we need to launch this initiative, we need to do this thing. We always come from a place of like that person is trying to do whatever they can to move their business objectives along, right? Like, so they're trying to do the right things for the business. Sometimes we're like, oh, okay, we can sort of see some downstream effects that maybe give us a little bit of pause, but we do not lead with, whoa, 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 what are you doing? That's going to cause this. That's going to cause this. We very much lead with, yes, and tell me more. Right? Like sometimes it is like, what's the objective? Like, what are you trying to solve for? Because then sometimes we can help solution. And then sometimes it's just understanding enough about the objective to be like, okay, Kay, here's some risks we see, but we understand what you're trying to do. So how do we help you get there? So for us, it's our internal business partners. We see them as customers. We are absolutely trying to give them the same compassionate, quick service that we do our external customers.